So cool.
All right, welcome back, everyone. We are live. It's
What's
Monday
up?
Night Mayhem. How
What
are
up, what
you,
up, what up?
Vince?
Hey, I'm good, man. Yeah, we're set up. Brand new week. It is hot as hell up here in the Bay Area.
It is hot. Yeah, we're heat
Setting
wave.
records and stuff. We got a massive heat wave today and tomorrow. So in fact, my boss even sent a little IM a couple hours ago saying, "Hey, it's a spare the air day. Don't bother coming in unless you have like in-person meetings." So
Right.
we get to work from home again tomorrow. So that's cool.
Sweet. And today
Uh,
we got Daniel filling in for Tyler,
What up, what up?
SVD podcast.
yeah. Welcome
Daniel,
back. Boots on the ground in LA.
I know.
Feels good to be back, guys. Good
How
to
you
see
doing,
y'all.
brother?
Living large. How else is there to go?
That's right.
Right on. All right, well, as we always do, we always start off with NFL scores. So let's get into some scores. Before you know what? Before we do into that,
Yeah.
I always forget to invite everyone to like and subscribe to our channel. So if you haven't done so already, go ahead and do that right now. It really helps us a lot. We've noticed our subscriptions have gone up, our engagements are going up, and that's all because of everybody out there supporting the channel. So we do appreciate it. So please like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. All right, Vince. On to some scores.
On to the scores for the main slate on Sunday. The Bengals beat the Panthers 34-24 in the Andy Dalton revenge game. Didn't quite happen that way, though. The Colts beat the Steelers 27-24. The Bears beat the Rams 24-18. Thanks for the assist, fellas. The Broncos beat the Jets 10-9. That was an ugly game. I think Denver only had like 60 yards total.
Yeah, terrible.
Yeah, the Falcons survive against the Saints 26-24. The Vikings are able to hold on against the Packers 31-29. The Texans beat the Jaguars 24-20. The Buccaneers all over Tyler's Eagles 33-16. The Niners get the win big against the Patriots 30-13. The Commanders all over the Cardinals 42-14. The Chiefs beat the Chargers 17-10. The Raiders get the dub against Cleveland 20-16. For your primetime games this past week, the Cowboys beat the Giants 20-15. And God, that game still puts me to sleep now thinking about it. The Ravens over the Bills on Sunday Night Football 35-10, and it wasn't that close. And then on Monday Night Football right now, we have the Titans and the Dolphins. The Titans are up 6-0 last I checked about 2 minutes ago. And the Lions, it's 6-3 now? Okay. And the Lions are kicking a field goal right now. Oh, and it's through. So they're up 3-0 on the Seahawks. And 7-0. Sorry, that wasn't a field goal. That was a touchdown. That was the point after I just saw. So there we are. So there's your score update, and we'll just kind of keep an eye on those games as we go along. Let's talk Raiders first. You guys get the win 20-16 over Cleveland. That's your team, both of you, Daniel and Sam.
Yeah.
Go ahead and dive in.
Well, I'm extremely proud of them. I was nervous about going into the week just because of the lackluster performance from the previous week. No Devontae Adams, no Max Crosby. Your offensive line is beat up, but a lot of guys came together. Offensive line did. I thought it was an improvement from the previous week. Powers Johnson, I think, is going to be a guard of the future. He's just clearly a better offensive lineman option than most of the guys they got. Colton Miller, I thought, looked better. But he's still not the Colton Miller of prior years. I still think it's just due to not having a off season when he was dealing with his shoulder surgery and injury. I did see some things in offensively that I liked. Saw some things that I didn't like. The running game is still not where it needs to be. Zamir White just does not look like he fits in this offense. And it's surprising because last year he led the league in rushing from when he took over the starting position for the Raiders. I think a lot of that has to do with the offensive line and that they're going to force Gardner Minshew or Aiden O'Connell to pass the ball. So they're taking everything away from the run game. But the run game to me it's an attitude, it's a mindset. You still got to go and get yours. And Zamir White is we see all the videos as Raider fans as a horse breeder. He's over here running around literally with his horses. This horse needs to get loose, and the offensive line needs to start helping him out a little bit more. But I did like seeing the defense stepped up on certain areas, certain plays where they absolutely needed to get a stop. They got a stop. A win's a win. It wasn't the most beautiful win. It wasn't against the best of opponents, but you beat a team that you're supposed to beat. That's the thing, is you got the win against the team you're supposed to beat and keep yourself in it. It's another game where you have your own destiny within your hands, and they didn't screw it up. So they're 2-2. So you get through the first phase of the season at 2-2. And I think going into the year, the first quarter, I think Raider fans looked at the schedule and say, you got to go 2-2 at least. Unfortunately, 3-1 and 4-0 was an option, but you didn't get there. 2-2, you're still competitive, you're still in it. So good win. I'll turn it over to you, Daniel.
I knew last week was going to be a struggle because, number one, change of the quarterback, from Bryce Young to Andy Dalton, and number two, Andy Dalton has never lost to the Raiders. I knew last week was going to be a rough one. And sure enough, it came to fruition. And if you remember, Antonio Pierce was talking about how, some people made business decisions, and we all found out who he was talking about. He was talking about Jack Jones.
Yep.
He sat Jack Jones for the first half, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
But either way,
first quarter.
But either way, the defense, our secondary behind Jack and behind everybody else, and the fact that Snowden was the guy that clutched the game for us, what a great feeling. Yeah. What a great feeling for a guy in that situation. It's like, you make the squad, you might not see a lot of snaps because, let's face it, this is Crosby's defensive line. Yeah. And the fact that you come up with a clutch stop on fourth down, it was beautiful to see our defense pull out the win for us, because we've talked about it in the past. This game is going to function. This team is going to flow dependent on if our quarterback can take care of the ball and if our defense can come up with big stops. Thankfully, our defense came up with a big stop on Sunday. But again, I still don't like what I see under center. Yeah. I need to see more from Gardner. And I understand he's a journeyman. He's a backup. He's not supposed to be a franchise quarterback. But I still need to see more. And credit to the Browns. They took away the one weapon that he wanted to go to, because he looked at Bowers many times out there, but he was just doubled up. Mm-hmm. They locked him up. They knew that he wanted to go to his security blanket, and they just couldn't.
Yeah. Yeah, you add a legit quarterback to this offense. There are pieces. There are pieces on this offense, and I think it's definitely a team that, if you don't have an elite quarterback, it shows. I know the Jets lost, but the week before you saw Aaron Rodgers looking like Aaron Rodgers of old with the same exact team that Zach Wilson had. Yep. Andy Dalton, right, against the Raiders last week. That offense looked totally different with somebody who's capable, who can make the reads and all of that. And I think that's what the Raiders are missing, is really a quarterback to execute this offense. I'm not thrilled with Luke Getsy and his offense. So
that was supposed to be Cliff Kingsbury's job, but he jumped ship and went to Washington.
Yeah, I'm not. I don't really know exactly what happened. I read that it was like a contract thing, and so I don't know. He's not here. Great win for the Raiders. Keep yourself relevant. If you stink, Cam Ward, baby.
Cam Ward, let's go.
Yeah, I would love to see him in silver and black next season. Vince, how do you feel about the 49ers, man?
You know what? Like last week I was talking about, it's not quite panic time, but I know where the panic button is. I'm gonna forget about the panic button for a little bit this week. They handled the business in the end, it took a little bit to get going. At first, it was a couple of field goals. You had to get the pick six, an incredible pick six from Fred Warner, who's got to be the early front runner for defensive player of the year at this point. Like, just the way he extended, that's a video game interception that happened there, man. I don't know how the hell he did that. And then he got up and was able to, take it the other way for a touchdown. And then once that happened, the refs tried that like hell to keep the Niners from scoring a touchdown, but third time's the charm on that one drive. They had 2 touchdowns waved off due to penalties that were not penalties, very clearly not penalties. But anyway, it's okay. They handled business against an inferior team, and we're off and running. It's Brock looks great. He's playing just as well as he was last year, during the main part of the season. So I'm feeling pretty good about that. It's just these injuries because Fred Warner, I mean, we just talked about him, but he didn't play in the second half because I guess he tweaked his ankle a little bit, but he was ready to go back in apparently. But the coaches were like, you know what, we're up big, we don't need you to go back in. It sounds like he could have gone back in though if they needed him to. So that makes me feel confident about that part of it. Yeah. So and then I guess Conley, the return man, got injured too. So these injuries keep piling up for the Niners. I mean, we're already down huge pieces. I'm glad we got Debo and George Kittle back, and Kittle played incredibly as well. Like he normally
that
does.
catch
Sometimes
was crazy.
Oh, that catch was wild, wasn't it? Yeah, but like the blocking too and everything that he provides as a tight end. The things that drive fantasy managers wild because sometimes that's all he's gonna do. Some games that's the game plan. But this time it wasn't. They were able to get him a tug, and then So Jordan Mason was able to get his touchdown as well, and that helped me out in one of my chicken nugget leagues. So that was good. So yeah, overall I'm feeling all right. I just wish we weren't getting injured all the time, and the news keeps getting a little bit worse for the Niners because Christian McCaffrey, it just broke maybe about an hour and a half ago, 2 hours ago, something like that he's now dealing with Achilles tendonitis in both legs. And so now they have no clue on when he's going to be back. When like the report on CMC before this was before the game, and it sounded like they were going to start ramping him up today on Monday. But obviously that's not happening now. So it's going to be Mason for the foreseeable future. And obviously Mason's not as good as CMC. Like, nobody's going to be saying that. Nobody with their right mind is going to say that. But pretty competent backup, man. And I'm feeling pretty fortunate that he was able to step up and perform as well as he has so far this season.
For sure. We didn't get to talk about it last week because it happened after, but the Brandon Ayuk situation with the shorts. Did you see this video?
It's so weird. I don't even know what to think about it, man. I just if the team's not making any news about it, I'm just, you know what? I'm ready to move on. I had forgotten about the shorts actually because we didn't have it in here, and I had completely forgotten about it. And so I'm gonna just pretend like it didn't happen.
Here,
nothing to see here. Nope.
I guess
not important.
I don't think that's that much of a big deal. I think what's big deal is something from the offseason, the contract talk is carrying over. I think that's what this is really about. And, if you're going to get paid like a leader, you need to act like a leader. And that to me was just stupid that Brandon Ayuk even did that. It's not that big of a deal, but why even do it? So.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I just, I'm glad that everybody kind of got distracted and forgot about that and have moved on to something else. Thanks CMC for your 2 wounded
CMC
legs.
and a win is the best deodorant.
That's right. Yeah.
But
I do need
either
more
loss. 49ers lose, Raiders lose. The sky is falling today. If you're 1-3, it's over. Sky's falling.
2-2, you can like reset a little bit. Your brain's like, okay, we're in the season now. Like took a couple of punches, you delivered a couple more. We're trading punches
Absolutely.
right now, and let's reset for the second quarter of the season.
Absolutely.
So yeah, that's just a quick check. It looks like there is no score change at this point, so I think we can just move on to pick'ems at this point.
Sounds good. Let's do it.
All right. So for upcoming week 5 on the bye, we have the Lions, Chargers, Eagles, and Titans. Fun fact: the Lions and the Titans are both playing right now, so they're getting, they're getting 1 day short of their full bye week. Not that it really matters when it's a bye week, but yeah, whatever. So let's start Thursday night. The Falcons are hosting the Buccaneers. Sam, who do you got?
Buccaneers are tough, dude. I'm gonna take the Bucks. The Bucks at home?
They're in Atlanta.
No, the Buccaneers are away.
Oh. Well, this changes everything. No, I'm gonna stick with the Buccaneers. Go Baker.
That's where I'm going as well. Daniel, you want to take a pick?
I think Atlanta's gonna upset. I'll go with the Falcons.
Okay. Cool. All right, so let's move to the Sunday games. The Jets travel to Minnesota to play the Vikings.
Minnesota looks legit all of a sudden.
Yeah.
They're actually not in Minnesota. They're in London. They're at the Tottenham. They're at the Tottenham Stadium.
That's right. They're heading across the ocean. I forgot about that. The Vikings are the home team, but yeah. So wow.
I gotta think out of coming out of this terrible performance from Aaron Rodgers. I think the old man digs deep and has a good game. I got to take the Jets on a neutral site.
Okay. I'm going to differ, and I'm going to pick the Vikings just because I think the Jets as a franchise, no matter who's in it, something bad is going to happen. The Vikings, bad things happen to them in the playoffs, not necessarily too much during the regular season. So
yeah,
I'm going to assume that the Sam Darnold we knew for the past, he's not going to show up for now. He might show up later, like in the playoffs or whatever. There's not enough tape on him yet. That being said, I'm going to pick the Vikings to win. Daniel.
For sure.
Typically, offense seems to decline when they go overseas. So I'm going to go with the better defense of the two, and I'm actually going to stick with Minnesota as well.
Okay. Cool. All right, so next games, Ravens playing in Cincinnati against the Bengals. Anybody going to take the Bengals in this one?
No, I'm taking the Ravens.
Yeah, no. The way Baltimore ran it down Buffalo's throat. No, dude.
Oh, we just signed Derrick Henry. Here's a thought: run the ball.
Yeah, exactly.
You think?
Clever play calling right there. God, I hope Mark Andrews actually does something. He's on pace for like 250 yards for the entire season right now. That's not helping me in the league I care about.
Right.
Bills traveling to Houston to play the Texans. So, two division winners from last year meeting up.
They're both 3-1.
Yeah. I'm gonna stick with Houston because they've added quite a bit, and I think they're gonna start returning back to form. So I'll stick with the Texans.
Gotcha. I'm gonna take the Bills. I think that they have some stuff. They have some stuff to work on, and now they have the tape. And they can identify it thanks to the Ravens for dismantling them. So they'll get right and get the win. Daniel?
It's Diggs' first game against Buffalo. He's gonna want a big game, and if he doesn't get the ball early, he's gonna throw a shit fit. I think the Bills are gonna pull out a win because they're not gonna be able to find. Stroud's not gonna be able to find Diggs.
Okay. Dolphins, Patriots in New England.
Got to take the Dolphins. New England is not very good.
Yeah,
no, they are not a good team at all. Even with the Dolphins working on their third quarterback right now, I gotta believe the offensive scheme is good enough to get by. All right, Colts travel to Jacksonville to play the Jaguars.
Who's starting for the?
Oh, see, that's a good question. I got an alert earlier today saying that Anthony Richardson is a coin flip right now.
Well,
basically.
he's just going to get hurt again.
Yeah. But if he gets hurt, then you have somebody who can complete more than 50% of his passes throwing the ball in Joe Flacco.
Yeah. Oh, I don't even know. This is the stinker bowl because
Right.
you want to like the Colts, but he keeps getting injured. I'll stick with the Colts because I actually have Richardson on one of my fantasy leagues.
I'm going Colts. I think either way the Jaguars have a lot of problems. So Colts
Jacksonville's not a great football team right now. They look disheveled. They don't know which way is up. They don't know which way is down. And besides, whether it's Richardson or Flacco, I'm going with the Colts.
Okay.
Cool.
Bears hosting the Panthers.
Bears.
I think I'm on the Bears too. I think that Andy Dalton thing was just a one-time thing against the Raiders. Congratulations, fellas. The Panthers just are not very good at all. The Bears at least have some pieces, and the rookie's gonna, he keeps making strides. He looks a little bit better every game out.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah,
Daniel?
I'm going with the Bears as well. Chicago's a tough team to play at home.
Here's a surprise. The Commanders, they're hosting the Browns. I'm gonna take the Commanders. Anybody?
I'm taking the Commanders, man. No, I think the quarterback,
Jaden Daniels looks great.
That's
Rookies.
I think every Raider fan wanted Jaden Daniels trade up to the number 1 spot. But we're on to Cam Ward. Commanders with Cliff Kingsbury, Jaden Daniels, I think is probably going to be the rookie of the year. I'm going Commanders in this match.
He looked really good this weekend. You got to go with the hot hand. I'm going to go with Jaden Daniels and the Commanders.
Yep. All right. The Raiders travel to Denver to play Bo Nix and I don't know. Bo Nix sucks. I tried to make this interesting. I got the Raiders, guys.
I got the Raiders. Bo Stakes. I got to think that Devontae Adams and Max Crosby are going to be back this week. So yeah, I'm going to take the Raiders. They should win this game.
You better get that win.
You have
right?
to.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to, because the following week you got Pittsburgh right around the corner, and Pittsburgh's always a tough team, so you have to beat Denver.
Yeah.
I say sit or rest Max one more game just to make sure that his ankle is nice for that Steelers game, and let your backup defensive lineman come in and seal the win again.
The Lions are up 14-0 right now on the Seahawks. Thank you, Detroit. I appreciate the assist.
So you got the Raiders. I'm taking it,
yeah.
Daniel.
Yes, yeah. Okay. All right. So Cardinals traveling to Santa Clara to take on the Niners. Niners handle business. That's my pick.
Yeah, I think the 49ers get the win, but I don't think it's a walk in the park. Arizona could potentially put up points on the board very quickly. But I'll still take the 49ers.
It's weird. They start fast. Like whenever Kyler's able to find Harrison Jr., like these start really, really well. And then it's like Kyler completely forgets that Marvin Harrison Jr. is on his team now.
Yeah.
And just stops looking his way.
No, what you don't understand is that rookies are not allowed to have multiple good plays in a game if they're a wide receiver. You forgot. That's the rule in Arizona.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
So for those reasons, I'm out. That's fine. 49ers.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Giants, Seahawks. Is anybody going to be stupid enough to pick the Giants?
No.
Okay. Moving on.
Danny Dimes.
Packers, Rams. Took a little bit, but Jordan Love looks like he figured it out at the end of the game there. Just not quite enough in time to get the win. But
I'm still taking Green Bay. They're getting healthy. The Rams are still banged up. So I'll take Green Bay.
Yeah, I'm on the Packers too.
I'm actually going to be at the game, so I'm going to be at the game to watch a Green Bay victory.
Oh,
There you go.
nice. Right on. Cowboys and Steelers on Sunday Night Football.
Steelers.
God, nothing would make me happier. Nothing would make me happier. I'm gonna do it too. I'm picking the Steelers.
Unfortunately, it's going to be a Dallas win. They're going to figure it out. They always find a way to figure it out.
Mm-hmm. All right, Saints Chiefs on Monday Night Football. Chiefs are home.
Monday night. Yeah, I'm taking the Chiefs. The Saints are not at the same level.
I think they were exposed a little bit.
Yeah.
It's just a tad. But I got to go with my former quarterback, man. I'm going with the Saints. I can't pick the Chiefs, dude. Fuck the Chiefs.
Fair. No. I understand.
In the words of Josh Jacobs, dude, fuck the Chiefs.
Yep.
Dude, this is a fuck the Chiefs podcast. It really is. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not going to give away the free point. So I get it. I get it. So there we go. There's our picks. Let's move on to, I guess we're talking basketball, a little WNBA playoffs. The New York Liberty eliminated the Atlanta Dream, and the Aces eliminated the Seattle Storm. Both of those were just in straight games, two games apiece. And now those two teams are playing each other. The Liberty and the Aces are in the semifinal, and New York Liberty got the first win. And where's my image? I'm keeping track of this stuff. I swear to God I am. They get the win 87-77. And Brianna Stewart was like player of the game. She scored like 24 points or whatever it was. She was
34.
34. But yeah, see, I can't even talk. Like, she was insane. Right? Okay. And then the Connecticut Sun are playing the Minnesota Lynx. And we're saying these names because this is, we're starting to dive in. Golden State is getting a WNBA team, so we're kind of starting to like get everybody at least aware of what's happening for when we start talking about it hardcore, coming up. So the Connecticut Sun and Minnesota Lynx are playing each other. Connecticut eliminated the Indiana Fever and Caitlin Clark, and the Phoenix Mercury ended up losing to the Minnesota Lynx, and that might be the end of Diana Taurasi's career. We're not 100% sure about that yet, but it sounds like it's more likely than not it is. So off into the sunset, a goat goes.
Definitely one of the greatest female basketball players of all time. Basketball players, period, of all time.
Yeah, absolutely.
So smart, dude. Such a smart player.
She had that dog in her, man, for sure.
For sure.
Yeah, absolutely. So the Sun and the Lynx are playing each other. Like I said, Connecticut won game 1. These series are best of 5. So they're gonna play a little bit. We got let's see, where is it? The next note is get to the right screen, Vince. There we are. So the WNBA did announce earlier today that the draft lottery for the Golden State Valkyries is going to be held on December 6th. They have not announced a time yet. So basically the long story short, how this is going to work is each current team, WNBA team, can protect 6 of their players from being selected. And then the Valkyries will select from a designated pool of available players from each of the 12 current teams. So whoever they don't save, they can take 1 player from each team. They can also make pre-expansion draft trades, including deals to pick specific players and trade them to different teams. So they can start acting like, a real franchise as soon as the playoffs are over, basically. Golden State Valkyries can also select 1 player who is currently set to become an unrestricted free agent. So they could try to extend that player, whatever that may mean. So yeah, that's that. What's up?
I was gonna say, so it sounds a lot like the NHL expansion draft, where it's essentially you protect your core, and then they kind of open up the floodgates, and if you want to grab, this player from this team and this player from this team and this player from this team, you can, up until you fill up your roster. Got it.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, there's 12 other WNBA teams. There's 12 roster spots available, so it does kind of mathematically work out pretty well. And then once the expansion draft happens, that's when you can start wheeling and dealing, and then you can start getting ready for the rookie draft coming up in April, I believe, after March Madness. So, with all of that, time to a little bit of sadder news, but not the saddest news that we got out of basketball. Former MVP Derrick Rose retired after playing 16 years with 6 teams. And oh Lord, what could have been had injuries not taken their
Yeah.
toll on him, man.
Dude.
Like he was young and winning MVPs at like 23 or 22, however old he was, man. Like that Bulls team was, they were starting to build towards something, and then I don't know, it just all fell apart.
I mean, he was carrying that Bulls team on his back.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. I mean, that's why he got injured, right? It was just the weight of the team. Like,
Get out of my head, Vince. I was thinking the same thing.
Oh man, yeah, just it's unfortunate. He had all the skills in the world. You got to have some luck too, unfortunately. And after that MVP season, he really didn't have much of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, hell of a career anyway. I mean, he was able to last 16 years basically on one leg, and that leg being made of glass. So
Right.
big ups to him for real. And then the saddest news we actually heard this morning, I woke up to this. Hall of Famer Dikembe Mutombo passed away at 58 years old after a 2-year battle with brain cancer. He was a longtime global ambassador for the NBA, and he donated millions of dollars to hospitals and schools and education centers in his home country of the Democratic Republic of Congo and around the world in underserved areas. He was a big reason why there's like the basketball, like the basketball league in Africa. He helped set that up big time. He was a huge piece in that. And yeah, he's just a great dude. Hell, like, and he's so likable too. He had some great quotes. He had the finger wag, and he even used that finger wag in commercials. For fucking
remember he was
man.
blocking. He was blocking the kids from throwing their snacks in the grocery cart. No. No, that's always what I remember of Mutombo is the block shots, and he block a shot, no, block it again, no. So just a character in the sports world. Will definitely miss him.
Yeah, absolutely. So rest in peace, goat man. He's an all-time great. Obviously, he's a Hall of Famer. And yeah, I don't know what else we can really say. It's it's sad news. It's sad news to wake up to.
Yeah,
definitely.
All right.
On a little bit more positive news, Vince.
Yeah.
Some San Jose Sharks.
Yeah.
It's preseason, but the team is exciting.
Yeah. So they played 2 preseason games this past week. They lose 4-3 on Tuesday, but then they bounce back on Thursday, get the 3-2 win in overtime. And both of those games were a home and home against the Anaheim Ducks. Excuse me. Upcoming games this week. You got 10-1 tomorrow, against Utah. Friday against Anaheim. Both of those games are up here in San Jose. And then they're going to Vegas on Saturday. So, and then after that, those are your last 3 preseason games. After that, it's a regular season time on the 10th. So that's coming up. We're 10 days away. I'm excited for that. It's going to be a lot of fun. And I've already got tickets to Joe Thornton's retirement game on the 23rd. And I'm going to be getting tickets for another couple of games here and there. And I'm just really excited to focus I already focused a pretty good amount of time on hockey. I'm excited to dedicate even more time to it now, because now that I have the money that I'm not spending on A's,
Absolutely.
So
I see here Quentin Musty got reassigned and Sam Dickinson got reassigned.
That's right. Both of those players, they're reassigned to the Ontario Hockey League. Quentin Musty's going to Sudbury. Sam Dickinson's going to London, Ontario. So they're gonna they just need more season, and they weren't ready to make the big league roster, so to speak. They're just not quite ready for the NHL. They'll probably get promoted up to the Barracuda by the end of this year, I would expect.
And Sam Dickinson's a rookie, and
I mean, he just got drafted
second year.
Yeah, so they're still on a great track, and the Sharks' depth in the minor league system looks really good. And part of it being so good is you're going to have really good guys playing in the Ontario Hockey League, and you're going to have good guys playing at the AHL level too. So not all these guys are going to be with the big teams to start. And as exciting as these young players are, I think it's really important to remember this team was dog shit last year. They were dead last. So even if everybody shows up and everybody plays really well, which is like for any rookie, they're going to have ups and downs. So to expect everybody to come out guns a-blazing, ready to roll and like taking the league by storm, I don't think that's quite gonna
Not the
happen.
first year.
No, not the first year. I think the Sharks are probably going to be looking at like the 4th or the 5th pick in the draft next year, something like that. But then after that, once these guys start developing, and then you have like a full-on parade of young talented players coming up that in a couple of years, that's when it's really going to pop off. And I know I've said all this before, but I think it's just an important reminder now that the season is within reach. It's within sight. I can see, the schedule. Like I have October calendar like open basically. So it's right there. It's right there. It's important to just calm down a little bit. Let's get excited. Let's have some fun. But also, if things go wrong a little bit, let's not be too harsh on them. Like
sure.
They're
growing. It's a young team.
Yeah.
Daniel, what's going on?
Yeah, with
you're
the
a Kings fan, right?
Yeah, they're interesting. They're looking. People are, dark horse type stuff.
No,
are they out of their mind, man?
No. This is one of the things that I hate about preseason, because then you leave yourself susceptible to things that happen, like what happened in I think it was the first game or the second game. We just lost Dewey to a broken ankle, and now he's like out for a couple months.
Oh man!
And then the hockey gods decided to give us a nice punch in the throat by making 8 out of our first 10 games on the road.
Damn.
Oh yeah, that's a rough start.
I'm like, dude, who did we piss off?
They didn't like your logo.
Apparently not. They
don't like the new logo,
the old Kings logo or something.
Yeah,
actually, I don't like it either. I like the new logo better, but whatever.
Mm-hmm.
That's needless to say. I am optimistic though. I did like, some of the things that I saw last year, but I just really wished that there was more consistency on the scoring end. Our coach, I think his name is Jim Heller. I don't even remember our coach anymore, dude. They've been bouncing around every freaking week at this point. Announced that he's getting rid of our 1-3-1 system, which I thought was stupid to begin with. So for those of you who are uninitiated, a 1-3-1 is essentially you have a centerman, 3 wing, and then you have your 3, and then 1 defenseman in front of the goalie. That is the stupidest formation you could have, because you just have that one lone defender in no man's land.
Right.
So thankfully he's doing away with it. He's going back to something more traditional. So I am optimistic that this team kind of turns it around this year. But again, I gotta see more. I gotta see tape. I gotta see tape before I form a solid opinion, because our number one kryptonite was definitely our goalie, and our number one kryptonite was definitely our scoring. So
yeah. And I mean, a little bit of addition by subtraction too. You were able to move that one contract. I'm blanking on the name.
Was it Dubois?
Dubois, yeah. That guy was a bit of a cancer on the team, I think.
We spent all this money to freaking bring him over to score, and doesn't score a single point in the playoffs. Like,
yeah, I don't know what the hell happened there, man. Like that was. And being able to move on off of him, getting somebody else to buy the contract. I'm shocked you guys were able to do that. I thought you were just gonna have to wear that contract like the Sharks are wearing the Marc-Edouard Vlasic one, man.
I mean, the thing that frustrates me is definitely the front office on this team. Like, Arthur Keliev all offseason has been asking for a trade. And what does Rob Blake do? He signs onto a 1-year deal. And then what does Keliev do? He breaks his collarbone the first practice of the year. I'm like, dude. Like, if this isn't evidence, if this isn't evidence that we need a change of the guard in the front office, I don't know what the hell is. Like, Luke, I love you to death. Rob, I love you guys to death. You guys are Kings royalty, but get the fuck out of the front office, please.
Yeah, there's got to be a special advisor role to the owner or something, like some promotion they can do to get them out of the office, the front office,
Seriously,
out of the day-to-day ops, I guess is what I'm looking for.
Farhan Zaidi's looking for a job.
God no.
It really crunched the numbers and analytics of hockey.
Yeah, because analytics is such a great tool. I mean, didn't the Rangers win the World Series on guts alone? Just saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, just giant fucking ball sacks, man. Before we get to baseball, though, anything else on hockey?
No, I got Wrexham up next.
Yeah, okay. Let's talk Wrexham real quick. They draw 0-0 at Leyton Orient, so they're currently 5 wins, 2 draws, 1 loss. That is 17 points in second place in EFL 1. As a reminder, the top 3 get an automatic promotion to the championship level. So I know it's still pretty early, but I mean it's 8 games in. It's a big enough sample size to say, hey, they're going to at least make some noise, and they're going to be pushing for another promotion, a back-to-back promotion, which is unheard of, just absolutely wild. They got 2 games this week coming up at Stevenage, and then on Tuesday, and then on Saturday at Northampton Town comes to Wrexham to play. So a chance to pick up 6 big points and really just make a statement, I guess. So there's your Wrexham update. Normally Tyler's the one that does it, and he has all the full details and everything. But yeah, he's not here right now. He's working. So we're just gonna move on to Bay FC. So they get the win 1-0 at Seattle Reign on Sunday. Oshuala converted a penalty kick on the 27th minute, and she actually was the one that got fouled in the box, and it was an aggressive takedown right in the box. It was a very obvious penalty. I would have been shitting bricks if they didn't call it. Like, it was so blatant. So I'm glad they did call it. She converts, and they basically they kind of held control most of the game. They were able to like just waste the time accordingly at the end, especially. I wish I could have seen they had an opportunity to get a few more goals, if I'm being honest. They probably should have won 3-0 instead of 1-0. But that's not the way this team plays. So their current record is 9 wins, 1 draw, and 11 losses. That's 8th, and that's good enough for the 8th and final spot in the playoffs in the NWSL. Their upcoming game is at Gotham FC in New York at 4:30 on Saturday. So 4:30 local time, 7:30 East Coast. So that's going to be a tough game. Gotham's already clinched their playoff spot. And Bay FC's holding on by a thread right now. So really tough. Really got to hold on, and I hope for a draw. But I really, really would like to see them. If they can shock the world and get a win, that'd be great. Just looking at the standings right now, they're sitting in the 8th and final playoff spot. Right behind them, 3 points, just 1 win back, basically, is Racing Louisville. They ended up losing this past week. That helped a lot. San Diego Wave and Angel City are both 22 points, so they are 6 points back, which is basically 2 wins back, and there's only 4 games left. So it's getting a little bit dicey for both of those teams. I don't know if they're going to quite have enough to make it. Seattle Reign, with this loss, they're now 8 points back of a playoff spot with only 4 games left to play. So that loss against Bay FC essentially ended their season. So, that was an especially huge win for Bay FC, because your next couple of games are against really tough opponents. You have Gotham, like I said, they're near the top of the table. They're in 3rd. You also have the KC Current play. Let's see, North Carolina Courage, as well. So yeah, these are tough games you got coming up. You got to get those wins. You got to get the wins where you can get them. So hopefully they're able to hold on and steal that last playoff spot. It'll be the 3rd time in this league that an expansion team makes the playoffs if Bay FC can hold on and do it. So that being said, a couple of news and notes as well with Bay FC. They extended the Jordan Silkowitz, the goalkeeper. She was who was traded from Kansas City when they sent Kayla Sharples out when they got Abby Dahlkemper. So they extended their goalie, and I expect that they're planning on having her play at some point. But Caitlin Rowland's been playing pretty well right now for the most part. So no real need to change just yet, but she's going to get some time at some point.
Yeah.
Also, Bay FC on Tuesday announced a permanent training facility on Treasure Island, which is going to be completed for the 2027 season. It's going to be one of the only facilities designed specifically for women's team in North America. And with this facility announced, perhaps the stadium announcement is coming as well. They're locked in to play the first 5 seasons, so this year and then the next 4 years at PayPal Park in San Jose. After that, who knows? Maybe, I mean, there is a couple of plots in land in Oakland that are available to be built on. I'm just saying. There's a baseball team's not using them anymore, so it's entirely possible. Who knows? That's just me spitballing. That's not me with any prior knowledge or anything like that. That's just me being a little shit, I guess. But yeah, so I'm excited for that. Treasure Island, I wish they could have picked somewhere a little bit different. It's a little bit tougher to get to, obviously, because it's really only accessible through the Bay Bridge. And obviously it used to be a lot of toxic, hazardous stuff. It's since been like cleaned up. You just kind of, there's a little piece in the back of my mind that always worries, like, did they clean it up good enough? But I'm gonna have to believe that they did. Otherwise, the team wouldn't be making this this massive amount of financial commitment to it if it wasn't feasible.
Yeah.
One more women's soccer note. The Canadian GOAT, Christine Sinclair, she announced she's going to retire at the end of this season. She's played with Portland Thorns basically since the inception of the NWSL. She's soccer's all-time leading goal scorer, men and women, with 190 goals in 331 games. She's won several club titles, including 4 with the Portland Thorns. She also won one in 2010 with FC Gold Pride, which was the Bay Area women's soccer team in an old league before the NWSL, the WPS, Women's Professional Soccer. So, congrats. One of the pictures that she took was the Thorns were playing at San Diego Wave, and they gave her a personalized surfboard with Christine Sinclair and her Canadian national teammate Kaylin Sheridan, the goalkeeper, was able to present the surfboard, which was a very cute, fun, nice, lovely moment. So
nice.
So there we are. There's your women's soccer update. Go Woso.
Oh, you know what, dude? What time is it?
It is fuck John Fisher o'clock. Right on time.
John Fisher o'clock. So fuck John Fisher.
Yeah, we did a whole it's like we did a sizable video on that was released yesterday, Sunday. So if you haven't watched that yet, please watch that one as well. You can get our full reaction to the end of the baseball season and the end of the A's in Oakland as it seems right now. So I don't know if Daniel, if you got anything you want to say, we'll gladly take any sympathy at all if you want.
All I really, really, really wanted to say was fuck John Fisher.
Amen.
No, dude, it's
testify.
It doesn't feel like baseball anymore. The Oakland A's have always been a huge part of baseball history. Think about it. You guys had Ricky Henderson. Without the Oakland A's, you wouldn't have Canseco and McGuire. Without the Oakland A's, we wouldn't have, Marcus Semien. We wouldn't have Sean Murphy. We wouldn't have Matt Olson. We wouldn't have Max Muncy, Dodger fans.
Yeah.
You guys forget Max Muncy.
You're welcome.
Was a part of the athletics organization. We wouldn't have Andre Ethier either. He was part of the athletics organization as well.
And we took Milton Bradley off your hands.
Thank you. Thank you.
You know what? Milton was very well behaved for 2006.
Was good. Yeah.
Milton was he was a sweetheart in 2006, and then basically he when they said they were trading him in 2007, that's when he kind of lost it. And that's when he turned into the old Milton at that point. But
yeah, dude, it just doesn't. It feels like a huge chunk got taken out of the heart of baseball in a sense, and I know we're going to touch on it later. Another big chunk got taken out not too long ago, but yeah, I do feel like I really wish there was a way to have kept the A's in Oakland instead of moving them to Vegas, to some city that's probably not going to give them anywhere near the kind of support that they could have gotten in Oakland. You know what I mean? So,
well, I mean, if they even make it to Las Vegas,
It's the other thing.
I don't even know if they're going to make it, guys. Like, I really don't.
Yeah.
We talked about it a little bit on Sunday in my eulogy.
Mhm.
It's really odd to me that all of the political powers that be are just, other than like the Oakland mayor saying a couple of things here and there, going to the final game, like all political people are quiet, which is fishy to me, pun intended. I really would not be surprised if the final stay is at Sacramento. And I'm really not going to be surprised if somehow the A's are sold and the new ownership group comes back to Oakland. Because, like I said, you have two massive sites ready for development.
Yep.
You know, like they're the original. You know, the current site, 150 plus acres, just you could play there, you could build next door, you own the arena, you got income coming in, and you got plenty of room to do whatever, redevelop whatever, and you have Howard Terminal.
Right.
So,
I mean,
and
yeah, go ahead.
has John Fisher ever gotten anything to the finish line? Like, I'm still just wondering if these guys are going to fumble it again. It seems like the rest of the MLB owners have voted yes on it just to be supportive of their colleague, but no one really seems to be supportive of it. I know we're gonna get into it in a second, but the White Sox, I mean, go to White Sox Twitter. It's nothing but sell the team. You know, we've said this numerous times. There are more owners like John Fisher who are just looking for a handout where, yeah, teams they need to be financially successful to pay these contracts. But there's also leadership, stewardship, and a willing participant in the community. Look at the Giants under the Farhan Zaidi era. They completely disconnected themselves from the city, from their fans, and now they're like trying to reconnect that, you know, and that's just a message that it happens so often with teams that they lose the sense of community, they alienate fans, and that's never good for business because at the end of the day, they're the ones paying for the seats, paying for the jerseys, buying the merch, and also paying for the apps that all of these new leagues care so much about. So to me, it's just crazy that in any business that you would treat your clientele this way. There are not infinite fans. You know, so I'll leave it there about the A's because there's a couple more things we want to get into, but
yeah, I would just add that I would like to know because I was watching David Sampson, you know, last week, you know, when all of this was like happening on Thursday, and he did bring up the fact that the owners always take a like the way they treat it is like a straw poll, and then they take the actual vote. So the straw poll happens, and if it's like 17-13 one way, then they do the real vote, and then it's 30-0 because they want to provide a united front. And it's cowardice, but it's also a way to put, you know, show strength, I guess, to show a united front or whatever.
right.
And it would be interesting to see what the straw poll was.
Right.
I don't think we're ever going to know that, but would have been nice just to know how
It's still
many votes
bullshit,
were really
when that first came out, I remember hearing about the Padres owner
Peter Seidler. There was like rumors,
that he was going to vote no, but he also had four to five owners that were on his side, and the second that he died, they switched.
Yep.
You know,
it all just fell in line.
That's all crap that we'll never truly know. But, you know, for me, I know there's been a lot of relocation with various franchises and things like that. I just don't think we're at an era. I think we're now at an era where these teams mean too much to communities, especially after Oakland fans have supported this franchise for 50 plus years now. And like that doesn't mean anything. You know, all of the highlights of the final game of the season, all of it, like 90% of it is all stuff that the A's accomplished without the ownership of John Fisher.
Yep.
Like in 20 years, you've accomplished nothing really. Like your wealthiest free agent is from a previous era. You haven't produced a home run leader, a strikeout leader, a saves leader in an era of baseball that's all about those stats. Like you haven't been able to retain not one player in modern baseball to be a strikeout leader, to be a home run leader in an era where it's all strikeouts and home runs. And you can't even retain a pitcher, a reliever, a closer, a home run hitter. Like you have nothing.
Yeah.
You know? So, I mean,
all right.
at some point, you're just going to turn your back on it.
Yeah.
And it's what's happening with the White Sox.
Yep. Jared, let's just talk about this right now. Jerry Reinsdorf, what is it with these shitty owners and releasing their little I'm sorry letters at the end of the year, man? Like, we're going to do better. We promise. Come back.
So that's a Miguel Vargas.
They lose 120 something fucking games. They lost
121.
It finished at 121. I knew it was 121. I didn't know if they were able to scrape together a couple more losses there. But yeah, it's a modern day record for losses in a single season. And it's gross. It's grimy and fuck.
It's bad for
you.
baseball, bro. It's
so
terrible
bad
for baseball.
You got what, like 3 teams from the AL Central that made the playoffs, and that's because every single one of them just beat the shit out of the White Sox, man. It legit skews the rate, because they get to play them 13 times a year or whatever. Each of them are going 12-1 against the White Sox.
It's like
just
it's the
putting
White
it out
Sox
there.
own.
The record is 39 and 121.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus, dude,
39 wins, 121 losses. Ouch. But it's all the fans' fault, guys. It's all those Chicago fans that don't hand over money, hands over fist.
Fans. Yeah.
Sam, 41. The math
41 and 121. They did win their last 2.
Oh, yeah. They did. Oh.
Either way.
This little meme is out of date.
Either way, owners like John Fisher, owners like the White Sox owner, owners like the Pittsburgh Pirates owner. Did you guys hear about what they did to Rowdy
Tellez? Yeah.
Dude, these kinds of owners should honestly be banned from baseball. Even the Angels owner. The Angels have been notoriously bad for the last 3 seasons, have completely ruined Mike Trout's fucking prime, misused his career. They've only been in the playoffs once for a wild card game, if that.
2014. No, I think they might have actually been division champs that year, but because the A's fell off.
Either way, to have, and I know we've talked about this,
to have Mike Trout and Shohei Ohtani in your system and not being able to do anything.
So I know we've talked about this in the past, but I really wish that there was a system in place either to relegate a team to a tier 2, or where if you're not successful within 5 years of being an owner, you are forced to sell the team. Because if it's clear that you're just using a professional team as a money grab, you should not be an owner of a major sports team, period.
Well, I mean, we've talked about this last year or whatever it was. The Dodgers, MLB forced Dodgers owner Frank McCourt out.
Yep.
Because he was mismanaging the team. And the second he was gone, you get this new ownership in there. They hire a new front office. I believe it's the guys from Tampa Bay. Yep. You get them, and look what happens to this franchise. It's a complete 180. You restore the franchise to its shine. They've invested into the team, and now the fans are crazy about their team. They're fanatics again because you're adding star players and you're retaining star players. That these people have something to cling to. It's not rocket science,
Common sense.
It's common sense. You know, all
one
of
of
these teams, these owners, the Reinsdorfs, the Fishers, the Artie Morenos. I mean, at least the Angels got the one World Series. I don't even know if he was the owner back then, though. You know, they're not good for business. Like, move on from these people. It's a better game when you have franchises that are actually trying to compete and win. You know, so I don't know. I don't know what baseball does from here. My assumption is they're just going to keep doing what they do and not really give a shit because they want cities to pay for these development sites, and they get all the benefits of tax write-offs and all of the income that comes with it, and they ain't going to pay it back in taxes. We know that. So
absolutely.
Let's move on, Vince.
Yeah, let's move on. We kind of joked about it a little bit, but let's just say it officially. Farhan Zaidi is out. Buster Posey is in as Giants president of baseball ops. So maybe a little bit of a return to the just feeling it by the gut instead of the analytics, the overused analytics, I guess. Analytics are just going to be there for everything, but like using it as a catch-all, I guess, like, that it probably went a little bit too far, a little bit too much. And it worked really well in 2021 when they came out of nowhere and won, like, what was it, 107 wins that year.
Yeah.
But then since then, the Giants have been very middling and just underperforming what they set their own expectations at, whether they were realistic or not. So he had to
analytics works really well when you have star players that can do star player stuff.
Yeah, it's funny how that works, isn't it? When you get really good players and they play really good, like all of a sudden you look like a genius with your analytics team.
Who would have thought Aaron Judge is going to hit homers, whether it's the first inning or the ninth inning, he's going to hit homers. There's a rate to it,
Yeah.
I don't know what this does for the Giants. I guess it does season ticket holders, people who maybe let their season tickets expire, because we all know the Giants haven't been selling out their stadium. Therefore, it's the fans' fault. They should sell the team. The fandom hasn't been as supportive of the Giants. Obviously, their numbers are a little better than some other teams, but they haven't been able to get star players. But most importantly, with Farhan Zaidi, he hasn't been able to develop his minor league system. Like, how many years we've been hearing about guys coming up, and then they weren't all that, So 7 years this guy's been rebuilding the minor league system, and it just never came into fruition. I could forgive not getting the superstar, because no way in hell Aaron Judge was going to leave the Yankees. You're not. No way in hell were you going to get Shohei Ohtani. That was just not going to happen. But you couldn't develop. So he wasn't a very good president of baseball operations.
I mean, the hope was definitely, because let's face it, the Dodgers do have one of the better farm systems in baseball, which is where Zaidi came from. He was part of that Friedman scouting department and development department. So the hope was that if Zaidi lands with the Giants, that he would be essentially the initial startup to build that rich farm system that the Giants had. Unfortunately, like you guys said, it didn't pan out, because I don't think the system was ever really put in place. When you're like what Friedman has is that he has like this well-oiled machine, because it seems like no matter how many times the Dodgers trade away a prospect, there's always one that like just takes their place, and they always have that consistently really good farm system. And when you try to like rebuild that without the actual framework in place, I think that's where it kind of fell apart.
Yeah.
But hiring Buster Posey as your president, I think what it does though is that it puts a better baseball mind in place, because let's face it, Buster was a great catcher when he was playing. He was a smart ball player.
He's probably going to be in the Hall of Fame. Like he's the one player on that Giants run in the early 2010s that's probably going to get in. I think his numbers are a little bit borderline, but
Right.
but on a team that won 3 in 5 years, somebody's got to get in, right? And
Yeah. He's
you
definitely
put in
gonna
the
be
best player. I think he's
Bochy's
the
probably
one.
getting in.
Bochy's
Bochy's
getting in as a
definitely
coach,
getting
but
yeah, for
somebody as
sure.
a player, I think it's got to be him because the starting pitchers, while great, didn't play long enough. You know.
Yeah, I would definitely say Buster's definitely going to go in there. But like I said, like I was saying, you definitely put somebody in place that's a baseball mind, which is kind of what you need in place. Because I think if you have a baseball mind there, he's kind of there to filter out the bullshit.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, those numbers are nice, but the kid can't hit, or the kid can't field, or this or that.
Doesn't matter how many walks you draw if you can't like hit when it's time to hit. You know.
Yeah.
Exactly. No, for sure. I guess the last bit of the baseball news, Vince. Rest in peace, Pete Rose.
This literally broke like less than an hour before we started recording. So yeah, this just came across. Rest in peace. He was obviously all-time hits leader and obviously all-time great. Should be a Hall of Famer, like on his numbers. Isn't a Hall of Famer because of the gambling stuff. Now that baseball is like getting in bed with all the gambling and everything, the like you can go to a Arizona Diamondbacks game and place bets now at the stadium.
That to me is the second MLB started to get in bed with gambling, like he should have got in. He should have got in.
So I think now that he's dead because he was banned for life, he's not alive anymore.
Yeah,
now
he should get in.
Like the first time they can. I think that the ballots are already like locked for who's eligible this coming round and for 2025. But I think 2026 he should be put in probably.
Agreed.
I've always been of the mind that Pete Rose should have been in the Hall of Fame. Period, dude. Like I never understood this whole logic of like, he gambled on the team. Yeah, he gambled on the team to win, dude. Like,
yeah.
It would have been one thing if he would have been like, if he was gambling on the Reds to lose, because then, he's kind of like pulling pitchers early or like not putting out his best lineup. Then that would have been shady.
Yeah.
And
there's ways to shave a game. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm not excusing it. Like, I completely understand that it's in the rule book, but it's still bullshit because, like you guys said, you guys are in bed with gambling. So for you to like, we're friends with FanDuel, but Pete Rose, you're not allowed in the Hall of Fame because you gambled. And it's like, bro.
The second they allowed it, he should have got in.
They have ceded the moral high ground on this. Right. So, just another thing for baseball to do to piss us off,
I honestly thought when Bettman became commissioner that he was gonna not Bettman. God, what's his name?
Manfred.
Thank you. When he took over Selig, I honestly thought that he was gonna freaking allow him to enter into the Hall of Fame. Like I would have loved to hear Pete Rose's Hall of Fame speech. I would have loved it because he genuinely deserved it. But now we're all robbed of it.
I agree.
100%. All right. Just one other news thing that happened over the past week that's not related to anything at all, really. Utah State has agreed to join the Pac-12. They're still kind of negotiating with other schools. They have to get up to 8 for football to be a real conference. So the clock is ticking on the Pac-12, but I think they're probably going to be able to do it. They just got to poach one more school, and who knows where it comes from. I know that Gonzaga's in talks, but they don't have a football team, so you got to find a school somewhere else with football. So, that's basically it for the slate. I think that's it. I think we did it, guys.
We ran through it.
Right on. Good work.
I see. I was just looking over the chat. I see here Edward Gabrielson. Shout out Papa G. See this guy Alex. Shout out Alex. Very active in the chat. Looks like he ran into Pete Rose in the casino.
Oh, dang.
For the record, he loves Oakland. Nobody talked to him. Sorry about that, Alex.
It's Sorry. My chat was frozen. I saw literally
Mine was
none of
too.
this.
Yeah, mine was
So
too.
weird. It's just coming across like I'm just now starting to see it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. But
Well-
thanks for tuning in, Alex, and thanks Papa G. Yeah, this is great. Love the interactions, and hopefully our chat will work properly so I can see all these next time, you know,
know,
and we
right?
can
Is
interact.
anybody else kind of bummed out that Shohei didn't get the Triple Crown, or am I the only one?
I mean, I would have loved to see it.
That would have been
Yeah,
dope.
I
would
would
be
have
cool.
loved to see it.
But
First
50-50 is a certain a great consolation prize.
Yeah,
you know?
I'll take it. I'll take it.
Yeah. All right, with that, thanks for listening to the pod, everybody. If you haven't done so already, hey, hit that bell. You know, subscribe for alerts when we go live, and follow us on Instagram and Threads. Them DMs are open. Slide into them. You know, say third. Let's go. Interact with us. It'd be great. And with that said, fuck John Fisher, and have a great time, day, night, morning, whatever you're listening.
See you next week, everybody.
Deuces.
Yo.
And fuck John Fisher.